Hello there, and thank you for watching my video on multiplication. Today we're going to have a look at a couple of methods in particular, the formal method and something called the Gelosia method. Throughout time, different cultures have developed their own methods of multiplying, from the ancient Babylonians with the pyramids, the Arabics, and then the Russian peasant method is another famous one. And there are plenty of others you may want to research on the internet. And today we're going to have a look at something called the Gelosia method, which dates back to the Arabic method. And I think it's good for you to multiply large numbers in that way. But before we start, a little question for you. Which Irish city is particularly famous for its multiplication? Well, the answer is Dublin. A little maths humour there for you. Okay, let's start with the types of numbers we're going to work on today. First of all, something simple like 25 times 3. Then we'll move on to 2-digit times 2-digit. And then we'll have a look at something big, 3-digit times a 3-digit. And that is where the Gelosia method might come in particularly handy. Alright, but let's start with something simple. 36 times 4. We're going to use the formal method for this. And the way I'm going to set it out is I'm going to line up my digits in their correct column. The units column and the tens column. And then first of all, we're going to multiply the units together. Always start with the units. So 6 times 4 is 24. Alright, so in the 4, carry the 2. 3 times 4 is 12. And I add on the 2 to make 14. And my answer overall is 144. Let's have a look at using the same method for a 2-digit times a 2-digit number. Set it out the same way, 27 times 82, making sure that your units column is lined up and the tens column is also lined up correctly. Start with the units first. 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 is 5. Now we're going to, we can tick off the 2, we're now going to multiply the 8. But in fact this is 80, so we have to include a 0 there, and that gives us the effect of multiplying everything by 80. So first of all, 7 times 8 is 56, carry the 5. 2 times 8 is 16, plus the 5 is 21. We need to add up all our digits, and we should get 4. 5 plus 6 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And we should get 2,214. Okay, use the same method for you to have a go at 2 questions yourselves now. Pause the video, and then in a moment I will go through the questions myself, and hopefully we get the same answer. Okay, so let's have a look at 58 times 3. First of all, I multiply everything by the 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. Carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus the 2 is 17. 174. Then 63 times 49. Multiply everything by the 9 first. So 3 times 9 is 27. 6 times 9 is 54. Plus the 2, 56. Then I have to add in my 0 there because I'm multiplying by 40, not 4. 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus the 1, 25. And that gives me, if I add up all the columns, 7, 8, 0, carry the 1, 3,087. Right then, let's have a go at multiplying some bigger numbers. Here we have a 3-digit number, 421, multiplied by a 2-digit number, 35. We're going to use a whole new method. This one's called Gelosia. It makes multiplying bigger numbers a little bit simpler in my opinion. So, follow my method and then you have a go yourself shortly. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set out my numbers in this way. 421. One number per square, and I'm going to write 35 down the right hand side. Then, use a ruler at home. We're going to divide each digit into its own row and column. Like so. So we have 6 squares. And then each square I'm going to divide diagonally like so, from left to right, which makes what we call a lattice. And the point with this is that the top triangle of the box is the tens and the bottom triangle is for the units. So when we multiply every number, you put the tens in there and the units number in there, like so. So let's start. 1 times 3 is 3, so that means that's 0 tens and 3 units. 1 times 5 is 5, so that's 0 tens and a 5 in the units part. Then 2 times 3 is 6, so put 0, 6. 2 times 5 is 10, that means 1 goes in the tens column, 0 goes in the units column. And then 4 times 3 is 12, so you write 12 like so. 4 times 5 is 20, so 2 in the tens column, 0 in the units column. And then we add up our columns. This time the column is actually diagonal. So you can see that these are our columns here in a diagonal way. And we always start at the far right, okay, at the bottom corner and right corner. So adding up from there. So in this column, that's 5 only. Then we have 3 plus 0 plus 0, which is 3. Then we have 0 plus 6 plus 1 plus 0, that equals 7. And we have 0 plus 2 plus 2, which equals 4. And the last column is just the 1 in the top there, so that equals 1. And my number is 14735. So my answer to my question is 14,735. Alright, we're going to use the same method now for an even bigger number, 357 times 246. Follow my method, and then you will have a go at one shortly. Okay, so I set my numbers out, 357 up the top, and then the 246 down the right hand side. Then I divide each digit into its own column and row, because we are only multiplying single digit numbers. Then I have to put in my, I'll do it in a different colour, my diagonals. Always best to use a ruler at home for this. Then I can start multiplying my single digit numbers. Let's use purple. Okay, so 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 6 is 42. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 6 is 30. 3 times 2 is 06. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, then remember, always start adding up this column, then this column, then this column, then this column, and so forth. So 2 in the first column, 8 plus 4 is 12, so I carry the 1. 4 plus 2 is 6, 9, 17, 18, carry the 1. 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, that's 8, and that's 0. And then whenever we finish, we have to work that way to get our answer. 87822. 87,822. Okay, now for your turn. Pause the video and have a go at these two questions. Okay, let's go through these. Hopefully get the same answer as I do. So, set out 289 times 25 splits everything into its own row and column. Then we start multiplying. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 5 is 45. 16, 40. And then add up my columns. 5, 12, 7. So my answer is 7,225. Now for the second one. 579 times 468. Bigger number indeed. Set my numbers out. 579, 468. Draw my box. Splits everything into its columns and rows. Okay, then the diagonal lines. Then the multiplying. We have multiplied all the numbers, then we just add up our columns. Start at the bottom right. In the units column, that's 2. Then in the tens column, that's 17. Carry my 1. 19 there. 20 in that one. And then the final answer goes around this way, so it's 270,972. Well done. If you got those correct, I'll give you a virtual high five. So, if you've got those questions right so far, I think you are ready for a new challenge to really master multiplication with Gelosia. So, try this problem here, 4 digits times 3 digits. Pause the video and then come back to me to see if we have the same answer. And the answer is 561,741. If you got that correct, excellent. You are now the master of multiplication with Gelosia. So, where next, do I hear you ask? Well, we can multiply with worded problems and measurements like kilograms, meters, milliliters and liters. And then you can multiply fractions and decimals. So, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you next time.